So, I want to share with you, for those of you who follow the prophetic movement or came out of it, maybe this will be some helpful information to pass along. There's a lot of people out there that are claiming to be prophets. And they're giving themselves that title and coming up with all sorts of weird and irreverent things to say and to do and to call themselves prophets. And they like to misappropriate scripture. They like to tell you to touch not the Lord's anointed, and do my prophets no harm. And they like to tell you that they've had dreams with Disney characters in them, and that God is speaking to them through Disney characters. And they like to tell you that, go through this elaborate talk of, numbers. That certain numbers, if you add these certain numbers up, that it comes up to these numbers, and this number has a prophetic meaning to it. And that's omen reading, by the way, and scripture forbids that. They'll tell you about these fantastical dreams that they've had, and these open visions, and these trances, and how God's telling them stuff, and they'll say that, on one side of their mouth, that they're practicing hearing the voice of God, and then on the other side, they'll say, the Lord said this, but I'm still practicing hearing the voice of God. Well, you're either hearing God or you're not hearing God. And you can be certain that you're hearing God, because when you open the Bible, that is God speaking. And that's where you should be going. And if I could just encourage those who have said anything, attested what other people have said, especially well-known people, because these well-known people in these movements, they like to make this disclaimer. Whenever someone tests what they say, their teachings or whatever, the first thing they want to do is say this: well, that person's just using my name to build their platform. But then they have no problem with someone giving them a prophetic word that is flattering and puffing up their ego and building their channel, but they have a problem with someone calling what they do into question. You need to be in Scripture. That is the more sure word of prophecy, my friend. You need to be very cautious of people who are calling themselves prophets. And you may say, well, who are you to say anything? Well, I'm a nobody. And I was in this movement. And I know what's going on. I recognize what's going on. I was deceived when I was in this movement for years. And then God graciously opened my eyes to see the truth. And so I want to encourage you and to challenge you, go back to Scripture. That's the truth. In context. Period.